Hello, and welcome to another episode of Just Jim. I'm Jim Luff with Aurora Payments and our sister company, Chosen Payments. I share information that helps all merchants with their credit card processing issues by providing training, guidance, and advice. Aurora Payments is a full service merchant services provider. We are ranked among the top 10 merchant services providers in America. Today, I'm going to be talking about chargebacks. Have you noticed an uptick in chargebacks? We are seeing many of our merchants who are experiencing chargebacks for the very first time after decades of business experience. In fact, as we enter the third month of 2022, our Aurora Chargebacks teams have been busy with a surge of chargebacks. This is a phenomenon taking place throughout the world. In fact, it's so prevalent within our industry that we've named it the chargeback surge. So, what's causing the surge? Surprisingly, we believe that this is a side effect of the COVID-19 pandemic, as the surge rates coincide with life changes that occurred in March of 2020 when our lives were shifted in one way or another. The lockdown became a catalyst for digital commerce. From neighborhood restaurants who adapted to online ordering and curbside pickups to retail merchants who quickly embraced e-commerce to their websites. With the surge in e-commerce comes the surge in chargebacks. Americans are spending more time online, and in a recent survey, 6 out of every 10 consumers reported making at least 2 online purchases every month. The problem is not unique to the United States. The problem is everywhere. In fact, card brands such as Visa and MasterCard are reporting that chargeback increases from 3 continents, including the United States, Australia, and the United Kingdom, have all had chargeback increases. In fact, 24% of all online shoppers have filed a dispute against a merchant in the past 12 months. 12% of this same group is initiating chargebacks at least once monthly. So you may be wondering, how big is the problem? It's big. 48% of all merchants in the previously mentioned continents have experienced a 50% increase in chargebacks filed against them in the past 20 months. Every chargeback has a 50% chance of being won or lost by the merchant. If you lose a chargeback, you lose the funds and you're left without the product or the time that you spent working on a project that you'll never get back. Every chargeback defense means someone in your organization must gather the documentation and take the time to respond to the chargeback notice and track it all the way through a resolution. Let's take a look at some of the reasons for the chargebacks. So it's important to note that more than 80% of all consumers have shopped online since March of 2020. 54% of those shoppers report that they're shopping online more than they did before the pandemic began. The online shopping shift includes making more household product purchases. So nearly 25% of those who have shifted to online shopping have disputed at least one charge in the past 12 months. Service errors such as shipping mistakes, billing mishaps, or late product arrivals are the most common reason for initiating disputes. In fact, service errors account for the bulk of all chargebacks, while only 27% are related to fraudulent activity. Fraud disputes are slightly lower than disputes involving product confusion or misrepresentation, which account for a whopping 39% of all chargebacks. Perhaps this is because we can't examine a product that we order online until it actually arrives at our doorstep. Another increasing reason for chargebacks is known as friendly fraud or friendly fraud incidents. Kids are also spending more time online and making purchases and placing orders unbeknownst to their parents, who then file dispute charges that dispute the purchase of, say, an unauthorized virtual game. There are more disputes involving friendly fraud than there are of legitimate fraudulent purchases. Another factor working against merchants is consumers working the system. That's what I call it anyway. Consumers have become more educated in initiating chargebacks against merchants when they don't get their way. A typical example includes a customer wanting to return an item that is past the return period. When the merchant declines to take the item back, cardholders file disputes. A dispute like this can easily be won in the merchant's favor with the right messaging posted in store, on the receipt, and on the website. The merchant must prove that the customer was adequately informed of the allowed return time period. When customers are told they can't have a refund and can only have store credit, they file disputes to get their money back. These can be won on a case-by-case basis based upon the details of the transaction. It is important that you always respond to chargeback notices. While chargeback notices are disheartening for a merchant to receive, you should respond to each and every one. Your hard-earned profits are immediately sucked out of your bank account, but you have an opportunity to explain your side of the story and gain your money back. But if you take too long to respond, you could lose a dispute simply for not responding in a timely manner. If you fail to respond at all, it can be considered a black mark against your business. Too many unanswered chargeback notices can get your business placed on a blacklist that ensures you will be unable to accept credit cards from any credit card processor in the world. Aurora Payments provides full support for our merchants battling chargebacks. If you receive a chargeback notice and you need help, give us a call. If your merchant services provider doesn't provide chargeback assistance, consider making the switch to Aurora Payments. We're a full service provider that provides white glove service for our merchants. That's it for this episode of Just Jim. I hope to see you back for another episode real soon. Thanks for joining.